Okay, Ryan, quick question. The Disney Dream or the Disney Fantasy? Which one are you booking right now?
Oh, that's a trap
It's absolutely a trap.
because I feel like most people think they're interchangeable and pick whichever one has availability.
Which, I mean, I get it. They're sister ships. They look the same. They have a similar size, similar layout.
They're not quite the same experience right now, and that matters when you're spending real money on a Disney cruise.
And that's exactly what we're going to get into today. Stay tuned, Pizza Pals. We're doing the Disney Dream versus the Disney Fantasy. Welcome back to One Slice at a Time. I'm Stephanie Picosta, a travel advisor that specializes in getting your big multi-gen family on a magical trip.
I enjoy also a travel advisor specializing in big, large group trips for affinity groups. We break
Yes.
down travel on this show into stuff that you can actually use. And today it's all about the Disney Dream and the Disney Fantasy and why picking the right one isn't as obvious as Disney's website may make it look.
Yeah, because who likes Disney's website anyway?
The old conventional wisdom was pretty simple, right? Dream equals short
Mhm.
trip, fantasy equaled longer trip.
Yeah. And that's just not accurate anymore. Right now, both ships are actually doing short Bahama sailings, 3 and 5 nights. The Dream is sailing out of Fort Lauderdale, and the Fantasy is sailing out of Port Canaveral.
So the length is not the differentiator, it's really the port.
Yeah, really the home port, the vibe, and you're actually trying to get out of the trip.
Sometimes it's also a financial difference too, and what fits into your
And
schedule.
so let's talk about the Fantasy first, really quickly. Port Canaveral, 3 to 5 nights. It's really focused on those Bahama sailings.
Yeah, it's an easy drive from most of Florida.
Super easy. And the itineraries, a lot of them are hitting both Castaway Key and Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point, which, if you haven't heard of that, go back and listen to that other episode because we did a little bit of a deep dive into the private beach there at Lookout Key.
Yep. It's totally different feel from Castaway.
More quiet, more spread out, a little bit more elevated, I feel like. So it's both getting on a short sailing, but it generally has a great value with hitting both of these Disney private beaches.
Yeah, that's right. If fantasy fits your schedule and everything, it is an easy yes. First Disney cruise,
Right.
family with younger kids. You just want to dip your toe into the Disney cruise
Yes.
world and see if it's for you. Fantasy
Mhm.
is a great ship because it's going to be a lot cheaper than all those Wish class sailings,
Mhm.
and it's not quite as big. For all the main reasons you would think, it's great for your first time Disney cruise.
Absolutely. This is actually what we did for our first Disney cruise.
Yes, makes
It was a
sense.
great way to, that first hit. Now we're addicted.
Yeah. So let's talk about the dream, which Stephanie has been on the fantasy. I have been on the dream.
Mhm.
I have never, the dream was not my first sailing. I did the magic first, but the dream, you're doing short Bahama sailings, also hitting Castaway Key, also hitting Lighthouse Point. So very similar to the fantasy.
It's leaving out of Fort Lauderdale, which is a little bit different vibe logistically. Bigger airport, kind of a different crowd. And honestly, the ship does feel a little bit different on board. I would say for first time Disney cruise clients, I would stick to sailing out of Port Canaveral because you could do that one night stay on Disney property before you head to the port. And that's not really something you can do in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if you're doing like a longer Orlando-based vacation, then
Hmm.
it makes sense to go out of Port Canaveral. If you're
Yes.
doing something in South Florida, well, then that changes the equation.
Right.
So sometimes this whole decision can be based where you want to go, which
Hmm.
airport has a better flight for your family. Looking
Yes,
into those types of things, those are also good differentiators.
it is. And the dream is just a little bit older. She's the older sister. She came out in 2011. Fantasy came out in 2012, but they're both really, really well maintained. Don't you agree, Ryan? Like Disney does a great job of taking the ships in and doing some dry docking and keeping everything up to date.
Yeah, whenever we're talking about a Disney cruise, the condition of the ship is not something that is even a part of the
No.
conversation. Like, there are some new bells and whistles on the new ships, and they're glorious, But if it's just a matter of like, are you going to go on this ship and feel like you're in an old space? No, that is not what's going to happen.
Yep. And guys, the itineraries are pretty closely the same right now, besides the home port. But here this summer, Disney Dream is leaving for the Mediterranean and for a European deployment. So that's going to change very quickly here in the next few months. You're going to be talking about doing the Dream in Europe.
Right? Which then it becomes a destination decision. Like you're
Not
not
a
even
ship.
really
No worry about
comparing
the
them.
ship.
So completely different trip. Yep.
Right. So where the Disney Fantasy cruises are going to stay kind of just cruises, honestly, like you said, the Disney Dream sailings are going to be actually like traveling. You're going to have ports in Spain and the whole thing. You're going to have a great, great big trip.
Yeah.
I don't know
I
how
mean,
to
the
say it,
Azores
you
is a
know?
really cool destination
Yes, it is.
that
Yeah.
people try to get to. So let's talk about some of the key differences because
Mm-hmm.
the dream and the fantasy, at least right now, and probably again in the future, you're going to have this
Mm-hmm.
situation where you're picking between the two because they're both in Florida. They're both doing Bahamas
Right.
sailings. Let's talk about what you get at each. And
Mm-hmm.
while there's less than 10 Disney cruise ships, people are collectors, right? So everybody wants to try to get every ship. So let's tell them what's
Right.
kind of the same and what's
What's
different.
different?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so let's start with the shows because the Broadway style
Sure.
shows on a Disney cruise is like
Second to
one of
none.
the main events, right? It's one of the reasons you're doing a Disney cruise and one of the
Mm-hmm.
reasons you're willing to pay the premium is these shows.
Yes. So on the fantasy, we have Disney's Believe. This is, how do I say this? This is the original musical that they put just on Disney Cruise Line. You cannot see it anywhere else. I have seen it, guys, and I really like it. It's incredible. You also have Disney's Aladdin, which is something that they've adapted for the cruise line from their Broadway musical, and Disney Frozen, which is the same way. It was a Broadway musical. They brought it in and adapted it for the cruise line. But all three of these shows, top notch, guys. They are incredible.
And the funny thing is about the shows is that there's always overlap, right? Like you can see Aladdin and you can see Frozen and you can see
Mm-hmm.
Believe on different ships in the Disney
Right,
Cruise Line portfolio. For instance, Disney Believe you can also see on the Disney Dream.
right.
And the star of that show is the genie from Aladdin. So,
It is.
yeah.
One of the
Uh,
stars. I'd say co-star.
the other two shows on the Dream, one is called The Golden Mickeys, and it is kind
Mm-hmm.
of like a tour through a bunch of your Disney favorites. And then
Mm-hmm.
they kind of do it in the backdrop of like this is an award show. Now,
Cute.
the other one is Beauty and the Beast. It is beautifully done on the Dream. I will tell you
Mhm.
that is the highlight show on the Dream. It is amazing.
Yes. But guys, I'm telling you what, hard to beat the lineup on the fantasy when it comes to really any of the cruise ships right now. Like having Aladdin and Frozen on
Yeah,
the same ship.
right.
Let's talk about some of the differences in the dining spaces.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, Enchanted Garden and Royal Palace are on both ships. Well, let's talk real quick because have you done the Dream, Stephanie?
I have not,
Okay.
but I know
So
that those two restaurants are exactly the same on both
okay.
ships.
So
Correct?
unlike most Disney Cruise Line restaurants, there's not really a show with Enchanted
Mhm.
Garden or Royal Palace. They're really cool spaces. The food is really
Yes.
good, but there is not like an
Mhm.
overall show. There won't be any song and dance. You won't get that
Mhm.
actually pretty much across the board on Disney Dream and Disney Fantasy. But Animator's Palace has some light show, light
Mhm.
entertainment, I would say.
And here it gets a little bit different because, as you mentioned on the Dream, it's not really the full animator's palette experience. On the fantasy, we got to draw a little cartoon, and then they took up our placemats and took them to the back, and our little cartoons put on this whole show
That's really
for us
cool.
on these screens. And yeah, they put on this whole show on the screens and had this whole cartoon playing with everybody's drawing. So that was a really cool experience. I know they don't do that quite the same way on the Dream as
The
they do on the
on the
Fantasy.
Dream, you still have the Animator's Palette restaurant, but if
Mhm.
you've been to Walt Disney World and you've seen Turtle Talk with Crush, that is what it
Right.
is. It's Turtle Talk with Crush.
So let's talk about the adult dining. They have Remy and Paulo on both of these ships. No change there, right?
Those two restaurants, Remy being like a French style restaurant and Palo
Mhm.
being the steakhouse. Apollo, I
Yes.
think, is on every Disney Cruise Line ship. It's one of the
Yes.
staples. Remy
As well
sort of
as
switches off with Enchante and maybe some
Shantae.
others.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Before we sail any further away,
Stephanie and I want to remind you that we are travel advisors. We help people just like you plan the perfect vacation every single day.
that's right, Ryan. Whether you have an alumni group like Ryan works with, a book club, a big multi-generational family, or you just want to get away with your person, we are here to help. And with that, it is time for Ryan's Crusty Review.
All right. Stephanie, we could tag team this one because we're going to just stick with the Disney Dream and the Disney Fantasy. On Disney
Okay.
Dream, it is on the pool deck. There are a number of
Mm-hmm.
stations, and one of them is a pizza station. It's Luigi's
Mm-hmm.
Pizza on the Disney Dream. And it's undoubtedly the same as whatever they have on the Fantasy. I'm not sure if it's
Oh, yeah.
Luigi's or not. You know, on
I
other
believe it
ships,
is. Yeah.
it's like daisies and, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has their thing.
But
But
it's exactly
the,
the same
the pizza
pizza,
is
right?
exactly the same.
Yep.
Here's the thing, it's not good, but I
No.
still have it every day of the Disney cruise. So it's like not so bad that I can't eat it.
It's
It's
too
just
convenient.
not like
Exactly.
high-end pizza, It's
Yes.
there, it's available, so I have to have it.
Right. It's just too convenient. It's just too
Right,
convenient. And
right,
how can you pass up a pizza window
right.
without smell the pizza? Of course you're going to get a slice of pizza. You're immediately hungry. And the
Yeah,
way it flows, it's like the pizza, the ice cream place, so like have it in order so you can just walk down.
yeah, yeah.
Then when you're done eating the pizza, you get yourself an ice cream cone. Like it just works out beautifully.
Yeah. You could get like slices of pepperoni or slices of
Hmm.
cheese. There's a bunch of other options they have, but you can also
Right.
get a whole pizza if you want. You just have to kind of wait
Hmm.
for it.
Yeah.
It's
Guys, this is a
available.
cruise. So ask for what you want. You want a whole
Yeah.
pizza? Even though you don't see it out, just ask. Eat as much as you
Yeah.
want. That's the
Like
best
a
thing about cruising.
like a 3 or 4 on the pizza scale. It's not great, but it's
I thought
available.
we did. So the pizza on both boats, the same. The pizza across Disney Cruise Line, unfortunately, the same. I wish they would listen to one of our reviews and pick up on this and switch it up. But one of the places that the dream and the fantasy do start to differ again is the adults only entertainment area.
When you say entertainment, we're talking about like nightclubs,
We're not talking
right?
about that
Like,
kind of entertainment.
yeah. We're talking about so on the Dream, and Stephanie, you can tell me what it is like on the Fantasy, but on the Dream,
Hmm.
there's like a area of the ship that you could go
Right.
bar hopping. It's like a club, so to
More or
speak. Like
less.
there's all these different
Yes.
concepts, and none of
Hmm.
them are really themed heavily to Disney things,
Disney
but
at
there's
all.
like a
Mm-mm.
champagne room and there's a couple other bars. So
Right.
like there's this whole section end of the ship
Hmm.
that is like just for adults. It's like the adults kid club.
Right. It is. It's the Adults Kids Club. That's a better descriptor. I know on the fantasy, it's called the Tube. And
Yep.
this is where you're going to find, like Ryan said, all the little pubs, bars. It's great to do a little bar hop situation. If you have any of the beverage tastings or classes, those are going to be held on these ships down in that area. So, again, not a whole lot of Disney theming. There are some subtle Disney touches in the spaces, but this is really just adult kids club.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's called the
Exactly the
district. I
thing.
don't know if I said it, but it's called the district on the
The Tube.
Dream.
Mhm.
Like you said, adults, or I said, adults kids club. Did
Adult
you
Kids
did you
Club.
experience it much? Did you go there for drinks?
We went down for a beer class, and that
Yeah.
was really nice. And we were kind of like in this Irish pub
Yep.
setting. It was a very nice setup. There's like a sports bar, more of like a nightclubby type spot. The
Yep.
Tube's themed after the Tube in London, so everything was kind of like English bars, which you would find. So,
Yeah. Yeah. The champagne bar was like the highlight. Like it draws your
oh yeah,
attention on the Dream like right away.
I
And
gotcha.
like you go in there and there's like bubbles going up the side of the wall. It's like very opulent in that
Right.
way. It's nice. Kind of a reminder though, they have this nice adult space, this adult playground
Hmm.
for us. There are no drink packages on Disney Cruise Line, so you will be paying
No,
top
there's
dollar
not.
for your beverages.
You will, but it's nice because it's a family cruise. So things you're not going
Right.
to find on Disney Cruise Line, a drink package
Right?
or a casino,
Yep.
which I appreciate. So
Yeah.
speaking of spaces for adults, Ryan, I feel like The Fantasy has a great adults only pool area. How's that on the Dream?
It's got this. Now you will see some kids that kind of walk through because they kind of have to, but if they come up the elevator
Right,
on the
because
other
if you're in
side,
concierge on the Fantasy, you gotta walk through the adults only pool
same,
area to get to the main pool.
same with the Dream. So yeah, so there's like the pool, there's a couple of hot tubs. The coffee shop is actually right there as well.
Yes.
And not only that, on the Dream, and I want to know if this is the same on the Fantasy,
Mhm,
you walk up stairs that are kind of right in that adult only pool area. You walk
mhm.
up to the upper decks.
Yeah.
Basically, all the way forward is also all adult space. There's where the
Yes,
smoking
all adults
section
only, like,
is.
yeah, sun deck up there.
Yeah.
Yep, that's
And there's
exactly the
like
way it is.
kind of a wading pool on the Dream up there. So it's not like you can't
Right.
go
It's
underwater
like
because it's
ankle
not
deep.
deep enough. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So, but
for
that
sure.
space was enormous. So if you wanted to go and like
Mhm.
read a book and be like far away from the people, that's a spot.
Right, not a lot of people up there our entire cruise. There
Same,
was always spots open. Yep,
same. Yep,
good call, Ryan. Alright. So let's just break it down and simplify all of this for our pizza pals.
that's right. Let's do that, please.
So, Fantasy, you're wanting a shorter sailing. You have a Central Florida vacation. You're planning on maybe visiting Disney World or Universal and then taking a short cruise after. This can be a great option and especially more economical than trying to get on the Wish.
Yeah. Now on the Dream, let's just say this works out better if like your better flight is into Fort Lauderdale, or
Mhm.
if you're doing like a South Florida beach vacation, like you're going to South
Right.
Beach in Miami, or you're doing Fort Lauderdale or something like that, or you want to do this Disney cruise, but then you want to tack those things on, like as a couple
Mhm.
of bonus days, you want to be in a beachy spot. That's where
Right.
like the Disney Dream out of Fort Lauderdale really works out
Mhm.
well. Unless you want to go to Europe this summer, then
Yeah.
the dream is your
The Dream
choice.
is your only option. That is your choice. That's right.
Yes. Unless you put it off for 1 year and then you can take the Disney Wish through Europe, which is the play.
It's super exciting. That's right.
Yes.
But guys, just don't have to figure all this out on your own. That's what you have me and Ryan for. We can
Yep.
help you decide out of all the Disney cruises or any cruise line for that matter, which one is right for you.
All right, Pizza Pals, if you are a Disney fan, you're going to want to stay
Mhm.
tuned for next week because we're going to tell you about the one resort on Disney property that is priced like a moderate but can act like a deluxe. We're doing a full resort review on Coronado Springs next week.
I can't wait.
Let's wrap on Disney Dream versus Disney Fantasy.
If this helped you, send it to somebody who's in the middle of trying to plan a Disney cruise and going around in circles. Speaking of going around in circles, Ryan, what's for dinner tonight?
Oh, let me think about it for pizza.
Guys, until next week, keep traveling the world.
One slice at a time. Bye.
Bye.